Hello Namibia, welcome to your daily lunchtime show where we catch up on current events and headlines. My name is Priska Anyolo and you are watching NMH at 1. President Hage Geingob would have met the new chief whips of the political parties today, but that was postponed this morning. The Namibia National Labour Organization conducted a press conference this morning expressing their discontent over what they term as unfair treatment of security guards in Namibia. As far as COVID-19 is concerned, 14 new cases have been announced this morning. This brings Namibia's total positive cases to 90. This is the highest number of new cases yet on a single day. 11 of the new cases were recorded in Walvis Bay, 1 in Swakopmund and 2 at quarantine facilities in Windhoek. The total number of local cases, 49, has now surpassed imported cases, which stands at 41. Recoveries remain at 21. On Monday, 474 new tests were processed, the biggest number yet on a single day, which includes samples taken on Sunday. And by Monday, almost 7,000 individuals had been tested. More than 1,000 new individuals were tested in the 7 days up to Monday as part of the continued increased targeted testing in the Irongo region. Kenya Kamboe revisited the police control at Divundu. Previously, people and care were checked and screened, but now you can witness people simply passing that point, while most people do not even wear a mask.
I'm at the Divundu checkpoint. As you can see, a truck just arrived coming from the Rundu side. However, control has lessened. Previously, to just drive through, it will take you have to go and be screened and all those type of things. But now, you just drive through. However, coming from the other side from Katima, you have to show your permit and then you drive through. As you can see, people are walking freely. Even in these two gentlemen in front of me, they are passing without face masks. They just pass by the checkpoint without any face masks. You can just see that the control has lessened now.
This is our Windhoek Express moment. Jareen Hoff recently visited the Etosha National Park and got some impressions from other tourists.
Hi everyone, my name is Sito Edwin. I'm enjoying myself here. I think this is really, just watched the beautiful sunset and we're at the water at Kakoe. And it's really such a beautiful place. I wish NWR could actually have these specials a bit more often. So we've been lucky enough that we saw a lot of zebras, a lot of springboks, ostriches, and we are here with the family and we are really enjoying ourselves.
Hi, my name's Anton.
Hi, I'm Vanessa.
Yeah, and we've taken advantage of the Namibian special and yeah, it's been very beneficial to us. We've really enjoyed it. We've seen some wonderful game and this kind of thing should maybe be offered to all Namibians on a more ongoing basis.
Hallo, ek is Natasha Berg. Ons is van Leonardville en ons is hier op die special en dit is verskriklik lekker en verskriklik mooi en ons is baie dankbaar vir NWR om hierdie special uit te sit vir Namibiërs.
Wat is julle gevoelens oor die kamp self? Hoe lyk dit vir julle?
Ja, dit is baie mooi. Warm water, skoon bedde goed, is al wat jy nodig het. En ons sien al die diere wat ons wil sien. Baie kindervriendelik, so ons geniet dit baie.
Tot dusver kamers baie netjies, baie skoon, bietjie raserige by die kampgate. Maar wat ek onmiddellik moet sê, soos wat ons kom inry van nou met ons se kant af, die badkamers, die ablesies, alles baie skoon, die skoonste wat ons het nog gekry het.
En diere gewys?
Diere gewys goed, ons het nou cheetahs gekry vanoggend, ons het daar rhinoceros gekry, hyenas gekry. Ons hoop om vanaand die res te kry.
Ag, fantasties. En gebruik julle die Namibian Special?
Ons gebruik die Namibian Special.
Wonderlik, dankie.
As the managing director of NWR, it really gives me great joy to receive feedback from our loyal local clients who happen to have traveled after the lockdown. They come back to tell us that they can see some visible changes that have taken place at some of our facilities. This is now in terms of the renovations we have made. We shall continue, we promise to continue to affect changes so that the product we offer is really at an acceptable standard, and that also we offer value for money. Thank you.
Steffi Balsar spoke to Brigitte Reisner, who operates the Zero Waste shop in Windhoek.
Good morning, I'm Brigitte Reisner from Zero Waste Store. We had a wonderful time in lockdown. It was, people had more time to shop, to bake. We sold a lot of flour and also other products. They really took some time to browse around what we have. They tried new recipes. We had a wonderful time. I worked on my own. My staff was in lockdown. But even only these 5 hours we were open during the day was a great time for us. I think it is important for people to have more time. Everybody's just racing through life and going along their daily tasks. Explain quickly what Zero Waste Store is all about. We're a little supermarket or retailer where you buy everything without packaging. So you can bring your own containers, you weigh them, you fill them with as much or little you need. Or we've got paper bags as well, where you just write on the code and then you also can do your shopping. What we also do, you can give us your order, we will pre-pack it for you. You just come in and pick it up, pay for it. And our big birthday is coming up next week, Wednesday. We're 1 year old already. It's incredible how time is fleeting, and we're very proud. We've grown to, and I also want to thank all my loyal customers and future customers for their support. And if you want to pop in next week, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday for our birthday bash, please pop in.
Okhone Tlage recorded D. Christian Lee, the CEO of Engine Namibia, who donates $100,000 Namibian dollars in form of fuel sponsorships to the Walvis Bay Corridor Group, which supports the wellness trucks that are used to test drivers and sex workers for HIV and AIDS.
Of our operation, and as responsible corporate citizens, Engine is committed to conducting business in a manner that is compatible with the social needs of the communities in which we operate. Indeed, given the long and lonely hours long-haul drivers spend on the road and the stresses associated with the job, These convenient facilities and interventions form a critical pillar of support. You will agree that good driver health has a massive impact on the lives of drivers and their families in terms of reduced exposure to the disease. Mobile and roadside wellness clinics make a real difference in society as we continue to try to reduce the impact of physical conditions, as well as in these unprecedented times, ongoing screening to stop the spread of COVID-19. I am just pleased to announce Engine's contribution of 100,000 Namibian dollars to the Volcans Bay Corridor Group Wellness Services to fuel their mobile clinic. Moreover, we will also put at their disposal our network of retail service stations so that they can start their mobile clinic to be closer and also more convenient to the community. This is just the beginning, as we really looking forward to have more initiatives.
Ain't nothing but a party going on in here.
We would like to apologize to our viewers for the poor sound quality in that video. But here on out, we take a look at the front pages for today. The Namibian Sun reports of a tender to the value of 102 million Namibian dollars that has been awarded to the Chinese construction company China Jiangxi International. The local builders and the Namibian Construction Industry Federation are in arms, criticizing the government for once again awarding the school project in the Kavango East to a foreigner, while the local industry has suffered severe blows, first from the economic downturn and now from COVID-19. The Allgemeine Zeitung repeats the Ministry of Health and Social Services intent to refurbish old garages and turn them into COVID-19 patient wards. It is also apparent that all people tested and found to be infected by the coronavirus will have to accept that they are being treated in government facilities only. Much criticism has been voiced on account of the Coastal Department of Ministry of Health and Social Services having been found wanting in terms of preparing for the pandemic. The result is that the existing facilities seem to be insufficient and often of substandard quality. The Republican writes about a sudden turn of events whereby the Ministry of Health and Social Services and the Medical Board have agreed as part of a settlement negotiations with the Pharmaceutical Association that pharmacists are in fact again allowed to sell certain medication that had been previously limited to doctors only, this resulting in the pharmacists to take the matter to court. The settlement reached foresees the accused parties paying for the legal costs. The Namibian continues to follow the fish rot scandal and tells us of an instruction which was apparently sent as an SMS. This text message was from the former Investec manager James Hatukilipi to his lawyer Maren de Klerk, instructing him to pay the boss, which apparently was a reference to the former Minister of Justice Saki Shangala. On its page 1, New Era gives an insight into the life of the driver who feels unfairly and unreasonably blamed and shunned by his community after he was one of the first drivers identified as having been infected with COVID-19. Confidante reports that the business entity Seaflower Pelagic is likely to close after its fishing quotas were cut and certain businesses undertaking between government entities and this enterprise have come to a halt on account of the apparent connection with the fish rot scandal. Moving on to the inside pages. On its page 3, the Namibian tells us of increased COVID-19 testing, which is planned for Walvis Bay, as well as the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development has to date spent roughly 62 million Namibian dollars for potable water that has been made available to the vulnerable part of the Namibian population. The AZ reports on its 3rd page that Namport has been able to break previous throughput records in the past year, obviously pre-COVID-19. This is in part ascribed to the manganese exports facilitated from the Northern Cape in South Africa via the Luderitz port, a much criticized undertaking as the manganese dust poses a threat to the local fishing industry. According to page 3 of the Republican, the Namibia Transport and Taxi Union has agreed that students, learners and old people will be allowed to make use of the taxi services at a lower rate. On its inside pages, the Namibian reports of racial discord at one of the local vehicle trading companies and also tells us of a racial slur uttered by a teacher in the Karas region against the Nama people. Today, we bring you part of a recorded interview which the Minister of Information, Forestry and Tourism, Pohamba Shifeta, granted Frank Stephan. During that interview, the minister expressed his gratitude towards the Namibian President, Hage Geingob, for reallocating the Forestry Department to the ministry. The minister is dedicated to finding a sustainable solution for logging in Namibia. If you would like to listen to the complete interview, please be sure to watch out for the live broadcast of Tourismus Namibia, which is always brought to you as a tourism-related program each Saturday morning by Namibia Media Holdings.
Amending our Forestry Act. So we amended our Forestry Act and the regulation when we started already doing that to strengthen measures in the Forestry Act to make sure that the loopholes are completely closed. There are some lacunae we have identified in that, and that's why you have seen people doing ABs. Some of them even just stealing this log timbers, cutting illegally, and just exporting.
So is the idea there similar to the conservancies where you said it must be an equitable solution?
Yes.
So it's not a matter of forbidding that foreigners necessarily invest, but it is prerequisite that they actually support the local community and make it a sustainable effort.
First and foremost, our decision of this ministry is that we will not allow any export of any timber, unprocessed or semi-processed.
Oh, okay.
So that's one. We have already taken that decision now because it's already provided for in the regulation. That the regulation number 12 does not allow Namibia to export timber unprocessed or semi-processed. That means you need to have product already finished in order to export, because that also, because it angered on the scarcity of our, and also our forest that we have. Namibia is a very arid country, first of all, and our forest, most of part of Namibia is desert, so we cannot afford to export, because if you export you don't add the value. So what we are doing now is that we will revive all those who want to have those factories revived for timber. We will be able to sustainably allow them to harvest, and we're also going to make sure that we revive those nurseries, in community nurseries, so that we can plant trees.
Plenty of things.
We can plant trees, and the forest, community forest, will then do some of the work to ensure that the community forest, that's how they will be able to sustain themselves. We have to make sure that every community forest, they have got factories to process those timbers, to make tables, to make chairs for schools. So we don't need to import in the future. We don't need to import any of this. We can do that. We have our forest, and our forest can first look at our needs, and also to make sure that we add the value, and also we create jobs for our people.
Yeah, and still maintain what we've got as an
we have those that are coming from VTCs in this country, from technical schools, and they have carpentry. They have carpentry skills to do carpentry work. So these are the people that now we want to engage and provide them with these logs sustainably, and then they can provide supply these two products to schools and to other public institutions and the private institutions.
Ain't nothing but a party going on in here.
And so we have once again reached the end of this live broadcast of NMH at 1. My name is Priska Anyolo, and we here at NMH thank you so much for listening and wish you a pleasant Thursday ahead. Please remember that COVID-19 is still a real danger in our country, so keep your distance and wash your hands regularly. Last but not least, here's a short weather forecast which you can look forward to for tomorrow, Friday, the 26th of June, 2020. Goodbye.